remember how to say your name. Run around, count all the freckles on your face. Go wrong, you go home alone. It's not too bad. Go wrong, you go home alone. It's not too bad, babe. I bet you can.
Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. It's been quite a while. You probably noticed we're not at Starshine, but it's for a good reason. Basically, I signed a 10-year lease on Starshine Ranch, but the owners didn't allow me to bring equipment. That's why I couldn't bring jumps on the property or in the arena, and there was a lot of rules, so I decided to end the lease and just moved and buy a place where I had a lot of freedom. So we're here at Steve's farm, which is now my farm, aka the Fox Valley Equestrian Center. So I'm very excited to be here, and I love the arena, love the pastures, and all the horses have settled in really well. Especially Mountain Dew. Yes, that's his name. I named him that because he acts like he just drank a gallon of Mountain Dew. But he's a great boy, and I'm really excited to work with him. But we'll talk more about him later.
Go wrong, you go home alone. It's not too bad. Go wrong, you go home alone. It's not too bad, babe. I bet you can. Handbags too short.
So the first horse I get to ride is Bullet, since I didn't really get to chime over fences and things at Starshine. Tell he was kind of push button on the flat. He was very sweet and but he had a very hard mouth. He was kind of pulling on the bit and pulling me to the jumps, dragging me to the jumps. But it was fine. He was okay. I think he can make a good lesson horse, but he just needs a lot of work on dragging people to the jumps. His knees, though, he's got perfect jumping knees. I think he could make a great jumper pony as well. He had a great gait as well. He had a really nice smooth gait, so I think that's another reason he would make a good lesson horse. Another problem that desperately needs to be worked on is bolting. Yes, you heard me. He saw something, I don't know what, and he just took off, and I was scared for my life on this tiny pony. But when a horse bolts, I just try to slowly bring them back, and if they don't want to come back at all, then I just circle them, especially because he has such a hard mouth. I figured he wasn't going to come back, so I just kind of circled him, and he started to kind of go off again, so I just circled him again. And then he calmed down, so I just let him canter a bit. And once he cooled down, he was perfectly fine. He was just cantering around, obviously. He was really good. He kind of sat on my hand a little bit, and by that I mean, he would kind of put his head down into my contact on his reins, or his mouth. So he was a little bit pushy. He just liked to push my buttons in any instance he had, but otherwise, he was fine. I mean, he's a good horse. He's got a good base on him. He obviously has a lot to go because I can't have him just bolting on my lesson kids. But, I mean, for me, I think he's fine right now. I think there's horses that will bolt on you, and that's just kind of part of training a horse. Yeah, he was great. I'm really excited to train him. Next up is Hazel, and she was already, I felt like she was being very, very sweet when I was standing, but she was definitely doing anything she could to annoy me. She was like pawing, and then she would like bite at my stirrup. But when I actually started to walk her around the arena, she got a lot ahead of herself, so I had to back her up because I could tell she was like wanting to go, and I already knew she was a big warm blood. She's the kind of type of horse that just wants to go all the time, which the second I started to walk on her, I literally was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought she was going to be, and that is exactly what she is. But I like horses like that. I trotted her around this corner, and she hated it. She spooked, and I wouldn't say she bolted. I think that was her instinct. Well, she did bolt, but she was scared of that corner. She reared, and then she bolted. Whenever a horse spooks at a corner, I always walk them back into the corner. Even if they're going to bolt on me, they need to be able to go back in that corner, and she was fine when I walked her in. She was perfectly fine. I think it might have been just a silly thing because she was bored, but that happens when you get new horses and they're new areas. They get bored. Around after that, make sure she was all cooled down, and when I felt ready, I asked her to trot. Of course, when I went in this next corner, she was scared of it as well, of course. She bolted down the arena, and I just had to ask her to come back to my hands. By that I mean, like, ease up in the head and let me get contact on her again, because my reins kind of fell out. She definitely was bored. I think by this point I realized she's just bored. So I was like, okay, time to bring fences in, but she was fine. She came back fine from the bolt. Antsy though, I was kind of trying to get her just walk a few circles to cool off, but she was still very antsy. I trotted her back in the corner because I figured she'd be fine with it, and she's perfectly fine. She was good with it. It was time to ask her to canter, and I knew the second I add leg, she would be like, gallop, gallop, and then she would probably try to bolt on me, but it was fine. She was actually fine going into the canter transition. I felt like she was pulling me to it, like if we were going over a fence, but it was fine. I was okay with it since she was young, but if she was a more advanced horse, I wouldn't let her just pull me into a canter, but I allowed it because she's young. She's like 5 or 6. She's very, very young, very inexperienced. Just overall needs a lot of work, and the next vlog I'll do a video with her and Luna. I think that will be a good one because they both need training. They both need help on their bases. Do any oxers or bigger than the crossbar or even jump anymore. She just was not in the headspace for that. She was barely in the headspace to canter. She's really an exciting horse to train. I think she would be a great eventer. Surprise, I'm hopping on Nemo. Today's vlog is basically getting back in the saddle. I haven't ridden in a while since of the move of Barnes, and Nemo, I was like, old guy, we're gonna ride. I'm gonna go ride you. I honestly didn't get enough clarity on jumping over big fences. I didn't really do it with any of the horses, so I was like, I need to get a horse I can just go jump on, and I was like, that's Nemo. I kind of wanted to do it on Rainley, but Rainley just isn't the headspace. He's young. He's just like Hazel. He's got a ping pong brain. Him and Hazel are both minds on spooking corners and stuff like that, and Nemo's not like that. He's just an old guy that's calm, easygoing, and he's gonna take you to the Olympics. I mean the Olympics for ponies is pony finals, so that's the kind of pony that would take you there, and he did take me there. So I was like, this is the guy, this is the man. I got some canters in before I asked him to jump an oxer. I know you're not supposed to start jumping an oxer. You're supposed to start with a cross rail, but he was so good. Oh my gosh, he was so perfect to jump. Like, I had just jumped these horses that have like never been jumped in their life. Well, they have been jumped, but in their life, but they're not that good at jumping, and he's just like a breath of fresh air. He was so amazing to jump. I literally love this pony. I love this pony with my whole heart. He's my favorite horse forever and ever, and he was such a breath of fresh air to ride on, and oh my gosh, he was, like, I didn't even need to count my strides. He just knew what he was doing. It was like, because I did own him when I was 11 or 12, and I went to pony finals when I was 11 or 12 on him. I didn't have that much experience. He was the experienced one, even though he was only like 6 or 7. He still has that memory. Even on the crossbars, he was just, she's perfect. He's just such a good hunter pony. I'm excited to see how the students do on him here. He's great. He's just so great. Muscle memory on him. He's like such a good pony. I just remember jumping him when I was younger. I feel like I haven't gotten a good jump session on him in a while, or even a flat session. I've just been so busy with moving barns. Like, one day I was living there, and another there was moving trucks, and I was somehow at Steve's farm which is now the Fox Valley Equestrian Center. It's just so crazy. But he settled in really well, and he likes it here. He's showed here before. This actually used to be owned by someone. I'm actually not sure what it used to be called, but I used to show here. It was a showing ground, I believe. It was a fun showing ground. I liked showing here. That wraps up our ride, and he was so good. It's time for the update you may or may not have been waiting for on Mountain Dew. He settled in so good. I've been able to get a halter and a saddle on him. I'll probably make him his own vlog coming up because I really want to sit down and film something where I just work with him. He has been so good on the ground. It's crazy. He's been better than some of my new horses like Hazel and Bullet and Luna, all those push button horses on the ground. He's been like better than them, and he's a wild horse. He's still wild in his heart. He's still a little crazy. We've had some incident, like he broke out of the cross ties one of the times, but he was fine with me grabbing him from the field. He's just such a good, sweet horse. He has a kind heart. Very excited to hop on him and see how he is. I can tell he's spunky, but it's going to be great, and I don't know if it's Western or English. We'll have to wait and see, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will make more like this very soon. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye, everyone.